Today I fucked up by thinking my life was set. This happened for the last 16 years. Created a throwaway account so it doesn't get back to my ex-wife since I don't really want anyone hurt, especially my daughter. 2 months ago, out of the fucking blue for me, my wife asked me for a divorce. Straight up. Things weren't going so well since the pandemic, because it coincided with her back problems and surgeries. She is a nurse, an amazing one at that, 4 in total, and also a big weight gain, which I don't care. She's very curvy and beautiful, so it was never an issue for me. So, the distance, the difference in standards, if I misplace something it was World War III. But she leaves stuff everywhere, it's fine. The straight treating me with aggression. I chucked at the hard times she was having with her health and her possible low self-esteem. Around the house I'd take care of tidying everything and I am the resident cook, love cooking. I also work a full-time job that passed to part-time job because the pay was similar and I could take care of the house and our daughter easily. But mostly because the pay was the same, work in sales. I'm good at that. Lower objectives with the same amount of sales equals more money. The 4th surgery has finally made her all better. And out of the blue she asks me for a divorce, tells me that I'm an excellent father and I'm welcome to stay at our place. We rent from my brother-in-law. Well, ex-brother-in-law. So we could both raise our daughter with her best care in mind, while each other living separate lives. She also asks for full custody of my daughter or else we have to take her to a judge to choose. I agree because I don't want my daughter to go through such a thing. Next day she has the papers ready, I sign them. My whole world and life gone in one day. She starts going out at night almost every night for nearly a month and all good with me, no dramas. But every time I go out, asking if it's okay or if she had plans, basically giving her first choice, the next day there's arguing. I end up finding out a postcard that celebrates 1 month of loving you by someone deeply madly in love with her, and that date predates she asking for a divorce by 5 days. Suddenly, the confusion and hurt of all the arguing that happens when I try to live my separate life as suggested increases. But I deal with it. I don't tell anyone, because the postcard is signed by a name that I recognize as her blood cousin and just going public with this would eventually in the end just hurt my daughter when she's old enough to understand. The guy is also married and with 2 kids. The today I fucked up is pretty simple. I lived these 16 years for my family, first for her, and then for her and my daughter. I have no savings of my own. I did the groceries and paid some bills, but since I get paid less I didn't really have a chance to save, or did I felt the need. She earns very well, she's very good at her job and the hours my part-time gives her allows her to work in 2 other jobs. Also her parents have money so if something happened to her or my daughter, I always felt secure. I don't have anything in my name and I will have to endure this for at least half a year until I have enough savings to allow me to rent my own place, I hope. It's hard as fuck. My parents have no money and are far away, and while this shit hurts as hell, at least I'll endure knowing I'll enjoy being able to live full time with my daughter until I eventually have enough money to move. Also, last week, I cried for the first time since this happened, 2 months tomorrow. And I felt so unjustly treated, that I punched a door and broke a finger. It's healing good and I live in a country with welfare and free healthcare. I'm not a English native speaker. Thanks for listening, guys. Edit. I've reverted to full-time work after this happened. Edit 2. I live in the European Union. Edit 3. This kinda exploded and I'm very grateful to all of you for taking your time to reply to me. I'm going to go to bed now with my heart full. Thanks everyone. And #X200B. Edit 4. I've reached out to a good friend and he is helping with a lawyer. Also, through mutual friends I'm gonna try and see if they can help her see that we can go through this peacefully the next months and that such a hard custody won't be in my daughter's best interests. Everyone that has replied and I haven't replied back. Sorry, it's been overwhelming but I really appreciate everyone replying and the strength given. Thank you. And #X200B. TLR even if you are in a loving relationship, always have something of your own money to fall back into if the need arises. And #X200B. Thanks for listening again, guys. Dude, don't ever sign anything like that again. I'm worried the worst isn't behind you. Isn't Up eligible for alimony? For 16 years they were together, he shouldn't now be thrown out ruthlessly. We can imagine all the hell breaking loose, if gender are reversed in this case. This sucks, Up. Keep your head up and stop living for her. You now know she was never doing the same for you. Enjoy your life and your daughter. Funny that when she was ill and needed help she didn't want a divorce, but now that she is okay. That's loyalty for you, these days. Never trust anyone blindly. May you get custody and stay strong, my man. Biceps. Your wife is fucking her blood cousin? I'd be printing out flyers to put all over town advertising that. Shame the shit outta her, haha. Today I fucked up when I slapped a tenant across the face. Too long did not read. At the end. Technically a YIFU, as it happened yesterday morning. I'm a leasing manager at a low-income apartment complex. There are dozens of interesting characters that I deal with daily. Some trash the place, some are addicted to illegal stuff, some are totally milking the system, but most of them are decent human beings who have fallen on rough times. There are a few residents I can't stand, though I treat everyone with respect and dignity. The mom who doesn't keep an eye on her 3 young daughters. The couple who smoke pot all day and haven't paid rent since the beginning of the pandemic. The hoarder family who keeps bringing broken trash juice-soaked garbage out of the dumpsters into their tiny apartment. The woman who thinks our already overworked maintenance guy should clean her oven. This story is not about any of those people. One of my favorite residents was on the brink of eviction, but she'd applied for rent relief and her file wasn't sent over to the lawyers this week, unlike the first 3 people on my list above. She was dancing like a maniac outside my door when I pulled up to the office yesterday morning. While I juggled my coffee and phone and keys, I asked her what was up. Her application for rent relief was approved and her $5,000 balance was paid in full, and they paid her rent through November. I put my stuff on my desk and congratulated her. She held up a hand for a high five. I looked at her elbow, which someone once told me makes for a more satisfying high five, and decked her across the face. She knew it was an accident, she knew chaos caused it, and she wasn't injured or mad at all. I was mortified. This morning she met me at the door with a piece of carrot cake. She said, "I'll let you have this as long as you promise to stop beating me." It was delicious, and we've agreed future high fives will only occur if I keep my arm stationary. Too long did not read. I screwed up a high five and slapped a resident of my apartment complex upside the head. No real harm done. This sounds like my apartment building, lol. It's not Southview Manor, is it? Lol. How the fuck does one screw up a high five? All you do is look at the palm and aim for it, bruh. The hoarder family who keeps bringing broken trash juice-soaked garbage out of the dumpsters into their tiny apartment. Into their tiny apartment. Into. ... They what? There are a few residents I can't stand, though I treat everyone with respect and dignity. The mom who doesn't keep an eye on her 3 young daughters. The couple who smoke pot all day and haven't paid rent since the beginning of the pandemic. The hoarder family who keeps bringing broken trash juice-soaked garbage out of the dumpsters into their tiny apartment. The woman who thinks our already overworked maintenance guy should clean her oven. This story is not about any of those people. Hobby writer giveaway. Not sure if I'm happier that this made me laugh out loud or a little bummed that you weren't bitch slapping someone, haha. Today I fucked up by spiking my iPhone into a toilet full of my own poo. So yesterday was my cake day after 4 years of lurking without a single post or comment, and I was wondering what my first post should be, but I couldn't think of anything good until this happened about 10 minutes ago. Unfortunately it couldn't even happen on my cake day, but I figured it was worth putting on here because it's funny and I could use some tech support advice. Anyway, I was using the toilet like I normally do in the mornings, and watching YouTube while I do it because I'm addicted to technology. Everything was going fine until it was time to wipe, and as a standing wiper, I was obviously not seated for this portion. So I rested my phone on the counter while listening the remainder of the video I was watching as I start to wipe, but out of nowhere a gnat flies right up to my face. Now as a rational thinker, and a man with extraordinarily fast reflexes, I swat at the gnat, miss it entirely, smack my headphones that are plugged in instead, which yanks on my iPhone and pulls it directly into a toilet bowl full of my own excrement. I pulled it out instantly, and the screen still turned on, but remembering the advice of other people who have had their phones submerged in water, although often under less shitty circumstances, I have it sitting next to me in a bag of rice. I have no idea how I'm going to get the smell out of it later, but hopefully I can keep this phone and not get pink eye from it when all is said and done because I for sure can't afford a new one, lol. I considered taking out the gnat for good, but I'm thinking that if I let him go, maybe karma will help save my phone. Anyway, I hope this post brightened someone else's day because I feel terrible, lol. Too long did not read. I dropped my phone in a poop-filled toilet. And #X200B. Update: I left the phone out to dry like many people advised because apparently rice is not the solution to water getting into a phone, which is news to me, but it wasn't in there long. I also wiped the phone and the case thoroughly with alcohol wipes until the fumes made me feel dizzy, which I figured that meant it was clean enough. And when I turned it on 20 minutes ago it seems to work fine. So good news if you were rooting for the phone to make it. Bad news if you think it's gross to ever touch a phone again that has come in contact with your own shit. I'll update you guys again if I get pink eye, but aside from that, I think this story has pretty much run its course. Thanks for seeing my first post lol. I guess you have a pink iPhone now. An iPhone is many things, but it is not a poop knife. I think the takeaway from this should be that you should probably sit down when you wipe. 4 years of lurking is remarkably restrained. Hope you can clean it up and dry it out. Stop putting your devices in rice. It draws out the water but leaves any minerals or particles in the phone to corrode the components. Take it to a repair center ASAP. The longer it goes while being dry and not cleaned, the worse it can get. If it's a modern iPhone, it's waterproof and you can just wash it with soap and water. But given you have wired headphones, maybe not. TIFU by making fun out of my famous cousin. My cousin is a rather popular Twitch streamer. She has a decent amount of following which she can make a living with. All in all, I'm rather happy for her. Recently she tweeted a picture of her eating a restaurant and I retweeted making a joke saying, "Looking a bit chubby, aren't you, chunky?" It was a pretty harmless joke as we always make fun out of each other. She herself found the joke rather hilarious. The name Chunky is a family nickname which she got when she was younger, but I won't get into that. But it seems her following did not agree with what I said. I had gotten plenty of retweets calling me all kinds of names and slurs. I didn't mind them as some of the insults were rather unique and downright funny. I had got some hate messages and some death threats. I did not think much of it and I had showed my cousin. She felt sorry for me but did laugh along with me regarding the funnier comments I got. It did turn sour rather quick when someone messaged me my home address. It was pretty scary, creepy to be fair. Now I realize I can't really joke online without people taking it far. Now I'm just waiting if someone shows up at my house. I'm a pretty big dude, so I don't think I have anything to worry about. But there are some fucked up people out there, so I'll try to be careful. LMAO. It's a bit worrying seeing how far people will go to defend her. Also, it's incredibly disturbing. Some have acted as if I killed their entire family. TLR, I tried teasing my popular cousin but it backfired on me. Her following were not happy as I received hateful comments and even death threats. Worse of all, one of them got hold of my address. The person that found your address is probably some fat dude with a crush and no social skills. He'll come up and knock on your door and then get scared and run away as fast as he can waddle. And I say this as someone who meets most of those descriptors. And now you know why parasocial relationships are dangerous. Considering the comment was public, I probably wouldn't have done it, but the reaction you got was taking it way too far. Your cousin needs to make a statement about that to her following. Just reply to them with, "My address? I already knew that." Doxing is never cool. You were doxed and your cousin needs to address it with her followers. Recently she tweeted a picture of her eating a restaurant and I retweeted making a joke saying, "Looking a bit chubby, aren't you, chunky?" Well, if she ate a whole restaurant, I feel like your joke was on point eyes.